Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to go over my February wrap up with you. So let's get started. Okay, so I will warn you now that my February reading month was not good at all. I was just not really in the mood to read. I had a lot going on. And I did read 4 books, but then 2 of them I DNF'd because I just was not into them at the moment. One of them, I think I'll go back to. The other one, I just did not enjoy at all. So I will just talk about them and let you know the 2 that I did finish that I actually really enjoyed. So the first one I did finish is called Wahala by Nikki May. And this one was just very fun. It was it's like a girl drama, but then it also has some elements of like a murder and a mystery kind of. It's like really, so it kind of reminds me, it says in the inside cover that it's a lot like Sex and the City. And it is in ways. So it's like Sex and the City in the way that it talks about each one of their lifestyles, and they're all kind of different, their lifestyles, and they all kind of like wish that things were different for them. But then there's a third woman who comes into the picture, and she just creates all this trouble, which is why it's called Wahala, because that's what trouble means. And I just really had fun with it. I listened to it on audiobook and also read it too. And I loved it. And I really didn't see, you know that there's going to be trouble from the third girl, but you just don't know how and why. But you do find out all these things. And then also there's like a big, like, surprising moment in the book. And I don't want to say much more, but if you want a fun, fluffy, like girl drama, this is a good one. Okay, and then the next book that I read, I don't have anymore because I borrowed it from the library, but it was a middle grade book called Stella by Starlight, and it's by Sharon Draper. That one it took place in North Carolina in 1938, I think. So it talked a lot about like civil rights, and it followed a black family, well, more like a community, but the main character, it was her family. So it was Stella and her brother. And it starts off by in the middle of the night, I think her brother has to go to the bathroom, and there's like an outhouse that they have to go to the bathroom at, and he sees a fire, but it's a cross burning with a bunch of men with pointy white hats, so the KKK. And it just goes on about that, and then like they call a huge meeting with the community because it's a big deal, and especially at that time. And so it just goes through her family's experience, the things that the community itself experienced, the difference between the white schools and the black schools. And I read it, and so did my daughter, who's in 5th grade, and she really liked it. We both did like audio book verse, and also we switched with reading it. It's just really good. It's really nicely written, so it's sad, but it's not like overbearing for a middle grade. It's very subtle in the way it talks about most of the things, but it just also, with it being subtle, it does show the difference between the way people were treated based on their skin color. So I really like how she wrote it, and I've never read a book by her before, but I will definitely read more from her because I just thought it was so good and so well written. And it follows Stella, who also wants to write, and it shows her writing throughout the whole book, and it just shows how much better she gets each time she writes. And it was just really nice to see her confidence build in that aspect too. And not only her confidence, but it was confidence of her whole community. They did vote, and some bad things happened because they voted. And it was just really nice to see how the community stuck together no matter what. And no matter what bad things that people try to do to them, they stayed calm and they focused on the best things that were in their life at that time. So I just thought that it was a really nice book. It's a 5-star read for me, for sure. So if you like historical fiction, especially middle grade, since it is middle grade March still, that one is amazing. So yes, check it out. Okay, and then the next one I read, it's also a historical fiction. I didn't finish it, so I didn't fully read it, but it's called Homegoing by Yagatsi, and I'm probably saying that wrong. I apologize. I don't think that I was really in the mood for something heavy, and this was. Like, I only got 40 pages in. It's about two half sisters who were born in different villages, and one grows up and she marries an Englishman and she moves to like a castle, and that's how she lives out her life. But the other one gets captured and taken into slavery. So I guess I should have known it was going to be heavy, but the way it's written, the woman who actually grows up and marries the Englishman, her story is not all like butterflies and roses. Like, her story was rough too, because her mom would abuse her, and then her mom made her lie about becoming a woman, and saying that she was not becoming a woman when she had become a woman. And because of that, her dad didn't want her staying in the village and marrying one of the men there. He was like, no, since, something's probably wrong with you. So that's why she gets basically traded to one of the Englishmen. And that's where she lives. Not that she was in danger, like, not that her life there was horrible. Like, she ended up enjoying it, but just all the stuff that happened up until then is sad. And then I stopped right when I was getting to the part where she finds out on the bottom, underneath the castle, where they keep people, and they're the slaves, obviously, and it's just really sad. So I just decided I wasn't in the mood for that right then and there. One day I will be, and I think it will be a really good book because I do like the way it's told, but just at the time, it was just not right. It was not sitting well with me. So, yes. I have heard good things, so I'm not thinking that it'll be bad at all. Okay, and then the last book that I DNF'd was called Violetta, but I will put the picture of that one up on the screen. I was really anticipating this book. I thought the cover was beautiful, and I was like, I knew it was about the Spanish flu, and it followed this girl who's born during it, and then right after the flu, it's like the Great Depression hits, and so it's her story. I think it's written to her grandson, maybe. I'm not positive. So I got like 150 pages in, so I did read quite a bit of it, but I thought that it was going to get better. It didn't for me. I know the reviews were pretty good on this one, and so that's why I kept reading to that point. So I did read a big chunk of it, but I was listening to the audiobook and I was also reading it. At first, it was kind of interesting. It was about the Spanish flu and how she was born during it, and then the Great Depression happened. Their dad basically lost all the money he was doing, basically taking more money from loans than he could give back. And he ended up making their family, who lived in a very nice house with people who worked there, to help, to cook, to clean, to help with the babies. They had like a very comfortable life, and they lost it all, and they had to leave because of what the dad did. And he ends up committing suicide because he couldn't handle the pressure of knowing that he lost everything. And then, that's what happened, unfortunately. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I just don't like how the story was written. And then after that, we get into like where she goes from there. And then it kind of gets confusing with, there's more people added to the story who they live with. And then they're more living in like the country area. And I was just waiting for it to get more interesting to read, but it was just like, it's like I didn't even care to read more, unfortunately. I really wanted to like it, and uh, I just didn't. It just, I never read anything by her before, but her writing style, it was just kind of like listing the events. It wasn't like, I wasn't emotionally attached to the events happening. Like, it didn't draw me in to where I was like, oh my God, like, I felt that. I don't know if that makes sense, but anyways, I rated it 2. And actually, I got that as a free copy also from NetGalley. It might be for somebody else, but for me, it just was so slow. Like, a lot of stuff was happening, but it wasn't written to where it made me feel so interested and invested in the story. If you've read it and you feel like I should have kept going and maybe it gets way better, let me know and maybe I will pick it up again someday. But as of now, it was just not my favorite. So it happens. It's fine. I'm not upset about it anymore. So yeah, and that's all I read. That's all I finished. I will be back soon to talk about my March reads. Look for that coming. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I hope your reading month was better than mine. Let me know what your favorite books were this February, or even just what your reading experience was in February. I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you. Bye.